Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce to you the red Terran player in the top left of Grezvin. Team Liquid's very own Frenchman, the kid. It's Clem. One of the most aggressive players in the game, but on the other side, one of the only players I'd trust to be able to match him, especially as Protoss go. I give you the Twilight Toss. It's MaxPax. These two have played many times before. I'm sure they'll play many times again, but it's all about getting up in your opponent's face and dictating the pace of the game. Not giving them a time or a second to react, to breathe, before you've already shown your strategy. And Clem is starting that out with 2 Reapers. Going to get all up in MaxPax's business before he's even really gotten started. And speaking of getting up in your business, like, subscribe. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it works. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,070. If we get 1,070 likes on this video, on this cast, I'll cast another series. Not unlikely to be at least one of these two, but... and I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. I hope I'll make your day a little bit better. And now I have no more time for selling out, as that Adept's time has run out. After killing a single Reaper, comes across the map. Clem, this is a TVT build, Clem. You can't just go Reaper Hellion. It's like, well, you can't micro unupgraded Marines very much, so Reapers it is. MaxPax making some shield batteries. 2 Adepts pre-shading in order to be able to dodge back, but with the shield battery finishing, MaxPax manages to keep everything together. No damage on the Adepts, really. Maybe a point of health damage there, but now an Oracle. He's continuing to rally across, even some Marines here after this 2 racks opener. The Oracle going to make all the difference. The Reapers try to jump up and immediately forced away. He splits the Reapers in order to try to minimize the Oracle damage. It can fly marginally faster than the Reapers with their jetpacks, but oh my god. Make a decision. Clem splitting his Reapers so well that MaxPax essentially has to take what he can get, which is 2 more of them. Thing is, MaxPax did not really take any eco damage here. He didn't lose any probes. His Nexus was not slowed down. And while he had to add a couple shield batteries, this has not done the level of damage that is really needed to justify it. And that means MaxPax has a 3rd base on the way. He's got Blink started. Stim and Combat Shield are still a long way off. And a starport doesn't even exist yet. So that means any sort of medevac timing is in the distant future. Though there are still some opportunities to potentially pressure the 3rd base. Some siege tanks on the way. This is shaping up for a Stim Combat Shield timing. Probably pull a few SCVs as well. As Clem knows, he can't really let this go. He can't let the 3rd base get up, because the one thing you have as a Terran player at this stage is the ability to do damage before the Protoss production is really online, as 3 gateways and a Stargate are not going to be enough units to easily dispatch even a smaller bio army. Blink will be done. Enough Stalkers on the field to make things difficult. 6 of them right now. But here come the Marines, Marauders, a Cyclone. Just general anti-air, doesn't hurt to have. Siege tank on the way. MaxPax mustering his forces. Stim and Combat Shield 5 seconds out. Clem in combat before they even complete. Hits the Stim button literally the second it finishes. But Shield Battery Overcharge doing a huge part here. Siege tank on the back line. Just blasting through the Stalkers, but MaxPax is holding without that siege tank, and another Stim as well. Starport not even done, I reiterate. What do we got on the other side? Looks like there was an Adept or a Zealot or something that slipped into the mineral line. Didn't really get many kills, but anything to keep Clem busy. Clem is continually pressuring. He needs to do damage here. He ideally kills the 3rd. Well, ideally he wins the game, but let's be a little more measured. Nexus losing its shields. There's no repairing it either. Ooh, Siege tanks in position. Oracle slips by, trying to bait out another stim. It doesn't look like he's gonna get it. The Nexus itself is definitely not helping. Shield battery comes up, re-shields the Nexus, trying to keep it alive, but the Marauders are doing terrible, terrible damage. Shield battery overcharge, pats it on the back here. The Oracle, another Oracle comes out. An expensive call, but realizes there's not enough anti-air. The shield battery overcharge re-shields the Nexus to about half. Blink Stalkers work to the side. The Oracle takes out most of the Marines, but Stalkers, this is the most anti-Stalker army that he could have right now. Charge lots into the fray, though. Blasted apart the Stalkers. Siege tanks with their bonus damage, and the Zealots are thinning out before they can get to the second tank. Oh no, he shot his own Marauder! And at this point in the game, one Marauder could make the difference in the fight. Oh, Clem wastes a volley, killing his own Marauder. He's gonna try to target fire the Nexus, but MaxPax refuses to let it fall, splitting his damage between the tanks. Finally takes them out. The charge lots closing the distance, and it looks like MaxPax, after all of this, after the continued battle across the... what was that, like 3-4 minutes of battling over this Nexus? About half the game so far. And MaxPax will hold. Clem finally has a medevac out, uses it to evacuate his remaining units. Get him home a little bit quicker, but the Blink Stalkers are on the chase. As MaxPax is not going to try to sit back and consolidate his position. He knows the best defense is a good offense. Or maybe all he knows is offense. It's hard to tell. Concussive catches one Stalker, but two Marauders would try to in turn. And the fact I'm counting one Stalker or two Marauders shows how evenly matched and how close these battles are. Because in almost any other scenario, counting out the number of Marauders killed is pedantic at best. I don't know if that's the word you use for numbers. But if someone says that's not the word you use for numbers, Winter, well, that's pedantic. So either way, I'll cover my bases, just like MaxPax. Barely. Plus, one about to complete. I can't believe MaxPax held on to that Nexus. Can I blame it on the siege tanks killing the Marauder at that critical moment? I don't think it was quite that close, but it certainly didn't help. We now have medevacs and mines on the field, the signature units for Clem here, whereas MaxPax has his charge lots and his blink stalkers. He's sitting on 74 probes. A great game thus far. These two are just so evenly matched. They both want to get aggressive. Pretty much all the time. And succeed pretty much all the time. How many gates are we at? Up to 10. He has 10 gateways. Well, Zealots slip into the natural. Will be cleaned up. Wow, Clem. No upgrades. No upgrade. He did all this, honestly, without the +1. Wow, the Zealots are really getting work done here. And this has dragged Clem's army back. That means his third base is not undefended, but a little bit out of position. But that is a lot of Widow Mines and Bio. He may have bitten off, so the force field will mildly inconvenience some more, but he dragged him back out of position. Here come the Zealots again. 11 more SCVs have gone down, and +1 still isn't done. The Stalkers back towards the third. Widow Mines dragged into the Zealots. More at the top of the ramp, blasting through the Zealots, and he will hold for now, but at what cost? Clem, I take it back. At what cost? MaxPax exhausted a lot of his army in doing that continued back and forth aggression. And Clem is actually closer than ever before in that supply count. We have another robo on the way. Robotics facility. Extended thermal lance. MaxPax going for 5 bases here. Another Zealot counterattack. Marauders are chasing down some of them. But the army supply for Clem is quite dangerous at this moment. The Zealot's looking for another opportunity. Yeah, they'll find it back at home. Not so helpful against this army at the front. Anyway, so Blinkstalker Colossus is the order of the day. Targets down a ghost. Dodges out of a mine hit. Charge lots, getting caught on the chew toy depots. Takes down. Wow. Force fields, not quite enough. A shield battery overcharge. EMP negates a lot of it, but still more Zealots in. No armory done yet. About to complete, which makes those Widow Mines much more difficult to deal with. He's going to require detection, and right now he has exactly none. The Widow Mines juggled up to the high ground. Clem making life incredibly difficult here. More probes gonna go down, but still MaxPax has 77 to fall back on. More observers will be required unless he wants to use the Colossi to friendly fire. Zealots into the third base. Driven back yet again, but 6 SCVs will be taken in turn, and Clem, deja vu, retreating from that middle of the map. 5 probes being produced at a time by MaxPax, which seems excessive, but the Widow Mines are dotting the field. There's still the couple at the front. Disruptors, I guess, are another method for dealing with them. Zealots continually being sent out. Oh, another drop of this one. Taken down. Blink Stalkers. Pick it out of the sky. Zealot at the front. I don't know if he noticed these mines. He may sacrifice some probes. A MaxPax holding on 86 probes. But that could all change in nearly an instant. 2-2 just now starting at the 13-minute mark for Clem. +2 attack is all that MaxPax has, but +3 is on the way. Those medevacs are nearly out of energy. Force field exists. Oh no, Widowmines killed a disruptor of all things. Just continually fires the shot. He does not catch both of them, unfortunately. And Marauders melting. MaxPax blinking to the front, and Zealots in the third. Zealots in the natural, and MaxPax just undercuts Clem. Yes, he took hits all over the map. He may have lost the battles, but he certainly won the war. So MaxPax comes out ahead in game 1. A beautifully played game now. I really thought he would lose the third, but he ends up keeping it together, and that is enough, as Clem is really focused on getting the damage done and not nearly as focused on keeping his workers alive. All right, a bit of a masterclass in game 1, but we're going to game 2, where Clem has sent out an SCV to NG Bay block. And even though it's going to be spotted, MaxPax, well, we'll see what his reaction is to it. The NG Bay is chosen, much like the Cyber Core, because it is the most HP and quickest build time for the relative cost. So you can get the maximum amount of annoyance here. MaxPax pulls 4, 5 probes, I guess, is the number, but 1 to chase the SCV around. And we'll get the Cyber Core first, but he's decided this is the number. Take your notes. Probe almost hunts the SCV down. Gets the Nexus. Mines some minerals, brings them home. So there are a few different philosophies for dealing with it. Some players will just take the third. Some players will build a Zealot, and some players will pull the probes like that. Some players will just one base all in. I think the most popular actually is taking the third, but the issue here is MaxPax already walled off the natural, so that would almost entirely invalidate the wall off. And another reason is it's not always scouted so early. If you wall off the natural, the SCV it's scouted instantaneously, so you can pull the probes instantly. Whereas sometimes, if you don't wall off the natural, the first time you're going to see the NG Bay block is when the probe comes down to expand and realizes the Terrans have already been here, getting up in everyone's business. As they do, which is kind of just the entire story of StarCraft, so It's lore accurate. Alright, double. MaxPax's so careful with the Adept Shades. The timing of the Adept Shades is... There's a lot of math. Protoss is all about preparation. Because the quest to succeed as Protoss rests on the edge of a knife. Stray but a little, and it will fail. Stray a lot, though, and you're has, and you might succeed. So at the end of the day, oh my god, he finds an SCV, finds two. Some of the ones softened up from earlier, some vengeance. And drags the Hellions back as well. I'm not sure, Clem. Bit of a mistake letting the Adept in there, finishing off those kills, and gets a full scout. Twilight Council on the way, first choice. And gonna go for the wall. Oracle has arrived. Going to escort the Bouncer Oracle. Sir, please. You're gonna have to leave. I said you're gonna... Ooh. Stutter steps the Oracle. Which is a thing. Well, it doesn't really step, but you get the idea. Just so much micro between these two. It's exhausting to watch. In the most exciting way. Alright. I get tired casting, and all I have to do is sit here and talk. I like to say that no, when you want to make it sound fancy, you say commentate, which has instead of talk, of course. Commentating is just fancy talking, but it lends an air of professionalism. And saying things like air of professionalism is how you become a commentator. Pro tip. Please subscribe for my TEDx talk. Double medevac. Clem was not happy with how late his medevacs were last game. Though the push, honestly, I really thought that third base. I don't know if it was a mistake or he was trying to have it all. Kill MaxPax's army and kill the third. And he ended up getting neither. And that was clearly the focal point of game one. Oracle sneaking around. Perfect scouting from MaxPax so far. Oh my god, the probe. Despite dying, ends up blocking the Hellion long enough to finish it off. But the double drop is on the... Well, not the double drop, but the double medevac pressure. Stim is done. Combat shield is not, which makes it a little easier, especially after a stim, to kill those Marines. Yeah, Clem realizing that, well, it's going to be hard to pull this one over on MaxPax. As the Oracle is spotted it the whole time. Blink is already done. That's more than enough Stalkers. With Blink, of course, to deal with this. Yeah, not even stimming the Marauders. Realizing that it likely only makes him more vulnerable. Ooh! He gets that last Stalker there. But, here we go. The duel begins. Concussive done. He hits the stims. Trying to run up on the Stalkers. The Blink, a little bit off-center. Loses 3. Clem already stutter-stepping past the Stalkers to catch them as they blink back. This is 2 games in a row, just hitting the moment those bio upgrades finish. This time it wasn't stim, it was concussive shells that he was exploiting. But the concussive shells for breaking the many weak knees of the Stalkers. Very effective against Blink if you can actually close the distance. Alright. A little bit more of it. And another Stalker. I love how he goes for the second Stalker before the first one is dead. Because he knows he's going to catch the first one, so he's just maximizing his kills. On almost any other player, I'd say he's over-microing, but it's Clem, so that's not possible. Spylon taken out at the 4th, but a just classic Zealot. Hey, I like that. Non-charge lots are not just slow lots or non-charge slots. They're vintage Zealots, all right? They're slow. They remind us of olden times when charge didn't exist. Like, okay, Grandpa, we don't care that I had stronger legs in the Brood War. It doesn't... I don't even think it was called... Was it? I think it was called leg enhancement, actually. It was something weird like that. Zealot leg enhancement. They just... why work on leg day when you can get, like, a bio implant or whatever they do? Chop their legs off and install... I don't know how the Protoss work. Protoss are plants, right? So they just grow better legs. That's my favorite theory, is that Protoss are actually plants, or derived from plant-like creatures. Well, these plants are getting cut down by the Terran army. Well-versed, also lore accurate in cutting down as many plants as possible. Handful of probes just gunned down. And the stutter step is, look at the Guardian Shield catching a lot of the Zealots here, but the Widowmons don't care. The medevac count is too damn high. The gateway units. Clem's just tearing through them right now. Colossus on the way. Far too long in the production tab. Third base might not be happening, but Natural's not happening here. He's just stutter stepping into the main. Splits a few units off behind the Natural mineral line. Oh my god. He's already done so much damage. Picks up as the Stalkers are off to the side and gets out with a chunk of his army. Clem has all the momentum right now. Oracle. Still intact. Oh, losing it. Certainly doesn't help. So MaxPax isn't dead, which is the first step to being alive. But past that, it's not great. Let's look at the positives here. MaxPax has a 4th Nexus. He has Colossi now. He still has this Warp Prism, though that might not be true for long. On top of that, oh... Now, Widowmine, there is no armory. +2 is on the way. Alright, there's some decent upsides here for MaxPax. But the big downside is the sheer army supply. 85 to 65. And this is bio medevac with mines against non-thermal lance colossi and gateway units. It's not impossible. But without disruptors, this army, like, there's just too many marauders. There's too many medevac. He's gonna heal through the colossi. Yeah, the force fields strongly discourage. Not enough. Widowmines connect. You need at least 3 of them before you can really even think about damaging the marauders. He stims again, but the medevac... This is why Clem's medevacs are always out of energy. He picks up... Oh, the Stalkers... He waited until he got the blink out of the Stalkers, but here comes MaxPax. Few Zealots in the 3rd, in the Natural, in the main. Cleaned up. 1, 2, but 3... Still finding some work, including killing the mines. MaxPax holding. Shades of showtime here. I will... Bob! Get out of the way! Oh my god! How many... Not the bunker! Oh, the Zealots kind of tripping over each other. He had probably half a dozen more SCV kills ripe for the taking, but... Yeah, oh my god. There's like 5 or 6 red HP. Easily one-tapped. Unfortunate. MaxPax struggling in this game, but he's still alive. 2-2 starts. Armory, that means Armory is done, making Widowmines that much harder to deal with. The medevac count is at 10. There's only 21 bio units right now. Well, wow, there's 5 ghosts. I didn't even register that. I'm sure MaxPax will, though. He's trying to blink against a single marauder. The Zealot counter comes in again. EMP plus Widowmines, though, will ward it away. But every moment that MaxPax survives doesn't necessarily make it better for him. Okay. I was about to say, it draws him closer, but Clem is not slowing down. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's building Ghosts and Vikings. He's got 3 more racks and a command center, so it's not getting much easier. But MaxPax does have the Colossus count, 4 of them, as well as a Disruptor, a single sentry for Guardian Shield. Alright, has one more added in. Guardian Shield, one of the most effective. He just hits that. I'm not used to seeing it. He just hits the ghost. Maybe he was microing over on the right side here with the Zealots continually. There's just Zealots everywhere. They're just trickling in. Ground armor level 1 about to complete. Clipping a few units here. Keeping the Colossi alive is MaxPax. Doing quite a good job of it. Well, MaxPax has lost 4,000 more minerals, 76 Zealots throughout this. He's got 10 gates, 1 robo, which is a little light. Planetary Fortress at the 4th, but Clem has not been able to lay down the killing blow. MaxPax has kept him busy at the right times and pushed away the army at the others. The Disruptor shots, clipping that first set of ghosts was very nice. Another shot. Infantry armor level 2 now, though. 2-2 is fully done. That gives Clem an upgrade advantage. Overall, EMP softens up a Colossus. Vikings do the rest. Fadeaway shots on the Ruptors. The Zealots just wandering around. He's just warping him in on his side of the map. It's like creep waves of Zealots right now that Clem has to deal with. Unfortunately, you don't get minerals for dealing with them. Ooh, the Vikings blink in! MaxPax, as a Dane, knows how dangerous those Vikings can be, and moves to intercept them. Another shot clips a ghost. Fusion core on the way. Advanced ballistics. That angle not so great, as trading blows with Marauders. Having only a single another creep wave. MaxPax slicing through a decent amount of the reinforcements with the Liberators unchallenged. Clips the front line. Disruptor shot staggered out. Vikings, MaxPax has done such a great job of living. Clem is on the ragged edge of cutting through, but MaxPax refuses to die. And that was the key to last game. Might be the key to the entire series. Sniping through. Very awkward angle with everyone curving their shots around the cliff here. Clem. The most dangerous... Honestly, if you treat Disruptors as a dangerous force field, as opposed to an actual damage unit, they make a little more sense. A dangerous force field with a 10% chance of winning the game every shot. Alright, another army. Clem trying to divide and conquer now, as he can't seem to challenge the Disruptor ball, but there's enough Stalkers and charge lots to drive him back for now. And that allows MaxPax a little more room to maneuver. He's able to get his Disruptors out on the field and potentially push, if he can get Clem back towards his planetary. Oh, the Widow Mines. Just melt the faces. I was trying to come up with another word for Widow Mines killing like 5 Zealots at the start. Oh no! Annihilated! A huge group of Marines, Ghosts, and Marauders. Disruptor shot finally lands, and momentum is shifting. There are Liberators with advanced ballistics on the way, though. The fusion core upgrading. That will be the main issue. Another creep wave from the right lane. The bot lane. The ADCs of Clem. Nowhere to be... Actually, no, there's the Marines and Marauders. And he's added the Liberators with advanced ballistics. No sign of a Stargate in sight right now for MaxPax. Clem keeps leaning into the Disruptor hits. Trying to target fire, but he's not finding it. Vikings on deck. More disruptors. I remind you at this time, this game is played by a single player. Both of them microing on both sides of the map, trying to split their attention between it. And so far, I think Clem, despite the hits he's eating, he still has the economy and the unit composition. The disruptors are a delaying tactic to try to get some more economical damage done. And MaxPax has not been able to do so. He hasn't been able to fight the main army, and the Liberators are a deadly danger. As at some point, they essentially annex a part of the map, and there's nothing that can really challenge them. He has +2 ship weapons, which is a very key upgrade. +2 ship weapons allows you to two-shot stalkers instead of 3, and Liberators fire rather slow overall, so that makes a huge difference against big groups of stalkers. And now, if they get EMP'd, that makes the Liberators one-shot them, which is just pretty disgusting. The danger fields continue firing. So, between EMP and +2, Liberators are essentially, you need air. Clem, pressing forward. The Venn diagram of freedom. Viva la liberty! Oh, disruptor shot. It's hard as a caster, alright? Because, like, any one of these could land and I have to get excited. But, like, for every one that lands, I have to just stare at 19 of them. And that's also the hard part for Clem. Is, for every 19 that he dodges, the 20th may very well hit. Well, MaxPax's supply is actually looking more healthy than it has in quite a bit. Firing the Ruptor around. And while he lost a bit, the Liberator, he's got 9 Liberators and counting. +3 ship weapons on the way. Didn't kill the Planetary. Recall of some of the units over to the south. This game will continue. Can MaxPax regain momentum, or has he only just bought himself more time? It's been Clem's advantage for over half the game now. Zealots stripping away the shields and much of the HP of the front line. The liberation is at hand. God, don't even see the Liberators from that range. You just see the advanced ballistics. Closing in again. Liberation. Oh my. He has to dodge out of it. More Liberators chasing. The Stalker count is not remotely. He's using Liberators for anti-air. And Clem closes in and eventually lays down the killing blow. The Liberators unchallenged in the sky. More than enough to obliterate the ground. Clem really gaining the momentum and never letting it slip that time. I'm not even really sure where it went wrong for MaxPax. He just didn't have enough to deal with the early bio. Wasn't like there was a ton of early damage. Just the bio army for Clem. Very difficult to handle straight up. The stim. Far too much. Jimmy. Thank you. Game 3. All tied up. It will not remain that way. You're welcome. That's how these series work. All right. We keep playing until someone reaches 3 points, and then they win. Most of the time. I love, like, MaxPax has gotten so good. I don't know if the creep wave style is worth it. The, constant waves of Zealots and Stalkers. But if that isn't it, I'm not sure what the alternative is. A lot of the time, what we'll see in the ultra late game, especially if the Protoss does have an advantage because it's very expensive, is the DT blink waves. The Dark Templar come in and just start slicing up bases. But those are also incredibly expensive. DTs, 125, 125. So, about the price of a siege tank for each one. Give her a little bit cheaper, but... So, building 12 DTs to snipe a planetary is not something that's easily done when you're already down 30 supply. But at the same time, if Clem was ever able to... Well, part of the reason why MaxPax kept doing those counterattacks is because otherwise Clem's just going to send out 2 medevacs to one of the outlying bases. And he's just going to rip it apart. Like, the only way to keep him busy is by sending enough units at home to force him to keep those 2 medevacs of units back at home. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with Terran on multiple fronts, and there's nothing quite as cost-effective in small groups as a bio-army with medevacs. Men with drugs and guns and a lot of anger. No, not my neighbors, but instead, the Terran army. Like, Winter, you made that joke before. All right. So if I'm going to cast, let's say, generously, 40 minutes a day, 300 and something days a year. This game, I have more original jokes than there have been original maps in StarCraft 2, okay? You made that joke before, too. I know. But, for one person, it was the first time. That was funny. Yes, I've ruined it by, pontificating on it, but it's true though. I do like some of my neighbors would not be out of place in some power armor with anger issues. This is one of the reasons I don't go outside. Not the main reason. The main reason is because I'd rather sit inside and cast StarCraft all day. So why don't you cast? Good point. All right, Zealots. No Zealots. Hellions and Reapers get in through the hard wall of MaxPax. Probes are pulled. Clem just shows up with the most ragtag army, but manages to get through against the minimal gateway units. But he did not see the Dark Shrine. It's a DT rush, by the way. Speaking of the Cloak Boys. Oh, does he know? Clem is building turrets like he knows. Well, at least has a good idea. Oh, the turret! No, he's trying to get out of range. And he does. So now what? DT in the main. He wasn't so confident that he built a turret in the main as well. And that might be the difference here. The DTs forces a scan, picks up, finishes the turret. Oh, where are you going? Taking a bit of damage on that prism. Not too much yet, but... Oh, juggling. Oh, the Marines are slightly out of turret range. Beautifully done. And then... Oh, loses one. Almost draws the siege tank fire into the rest of the SCVs, but doesn't quite find it. Siege tank annoyed that turret was slightly out of position to save the SCVs. Gives it a loving punch on the shoulder. MaxPax is gonna use an Archon to try to cut off some of the reinforcements. Archon not great against tanks, pretty good against Marines, but immediately recalls the prism out of range, vision range of Clem. Charge. Nearly done. Very done. Charge going to be required to deal with this. How many gates? 5 gates. About as many as he could afford. Clem backs off. Has he not seen the third? He hasn't. Is he gonna scan? Or at least send a unit out? He's assuming there's a third. He knows there's a third. But he's not 100%. He hasn't actually seen it yet. It would be very weird not to have one. Okay, prism is so important. You gotta keep Clem busy. Send him to the Ewoks. Clem just keeps shooting at his own buildings here, making sure they're real. They're not halluc. You're not lost. Colossus on the way. 3 siege tanks and some medevacs joining them. This is a dangerous... Oh, and MaxPax has no idea they're siege... Oh, no. It's a bit of a disaster here. But the Zealots into the natural. War Prism doesn't die. Good force field, but Clem circumvents it with the medevacs. Are there enough charge lots? Now the force field working against MaxPax. Down goes the Colossus, but the charge lots are able to close the distance. And with the Immortal... Yeah, these force fields continue to be quite questionable. But the Zealots... No, Clem's on a move command. A bit disastrous here. He slices through multiple Marauders, charges into the Marines and the Hero Zealots, but the drop in the main, simultaneously targeting the Forge. Down it goes. Pylons next on the agenda. Picks up, gets out. 6 SCVs down on Clem's half of the map. But those Zealots, with the real MVPs here, I think. Losing the Forge really hurts. No upgrades is going to have compounding issues throughout the match. But those Zealots made all the difference. Clem, a little bit of a mistake. Move commanding. I think a bit of Selector Army action there. The Archon drop still going. Juggling out of mine range. But he loses the Prism with the Archon. It's a disaster. Medium-sized disaster. Not a huge disaster. Not like a huge emergency, but... Not good. That definitely doesn't help. Both the Prism and the Archon, very valuable and hard to replace, especially at this stage of the game, which is still a precarious economy. Blink not done. The charge lots find the 3rd. The constant creep waves of Zealots will continue. Oh no. 5 probes go down with the Zealot Widowmine. He may have been prepared, but there's no stopping the mines. Minecraft is a very popular game, and who doesn't love playing it in StarCraft 2? 10 probes down. And that means Clem has gone to a probe worker lead overall. Thankfully, no armory done, which means it's unlikely, well, at least they won't fire again. The Colossi are stepping forward, but the stutter step from Clem. More Zealots warped in. There's all like, what is going on here? Few Zealots chilling. Medevac's nearly out of energy. Only 1 Viking remains to challenge these Colossi. No +1 is the only saving grace for Clem. Reinforcements joining the army. Targets the Widowmine. The command center itself is taking a bunch of damage. The reinforcing charge lots. Widowmines looking for a connection. Don't find much. Couple more. The actual orbital itself, but there's only 2 stalkers left. MaxPax. It doesn't matter. MaxPax holds a bit of a dicey defense, but a slicey offense makes all the difference. As the DTs and the Zealots. I think the real MVP, those 2 Zealots who got into the natural. I believe they killed the bunker, they ran up the ramp, killed like half a dozen bio units, came down, killed 6 more SCVs. Alright, too angry to die. And that is also lore accurate. Okay. Go watch the anime/documentary StarCraft for more about how angry Zealots are, but how loving as well. Very important. Please watch today. This video is brought to you by StarCraft. They don't sponsor it. It's just brought to you by StarCraft. Thank you. I love you, Carbot. Jimmy! Ah, time warp! Okay. Alright. Mothership core has been removed. And MaxPax on max point. As we go, game 4. No NG Bay block. The only success... Well, it depends on the map, NG Bay blocks as well. I'm not sure. I'm not going to pretend to have the thought process on NG Bay blocks on one map and not the other. But no attempt outside of Ancient Cistern. And MaxPax has won every game that hasn't been NG Bay blocked so far. Not a huge data set, but something to note. Second base factory on the way. Reaper into the main, poking around. Oh. Probe trying to dodge the Reaper. It's gonna be Twilight yet again. The Zealot shows up and angrily, as we all know, they don't have any other options. There are no other modes really. Let me in. Ah, why am I a melee unit? The vintage Zealot not quite able to close the distance. Is he going to switch it up again? Like the DTs ended up being a clever play, but not entirely unexpected, clearly. They made the difference. I think part of it was Clem biting off a little more than he could chew, but Blink it is. Back to the basics. Blink and Robo. So essentially your safe middle of the road version. Reaper comes in. Gonna get full vision. Wait, is he gonna see the Robo? Gets down. He's trying to see the Robo, but he doesn't quite nail the Reaper grenade. He was trying to look around the natural for anything else, but it's going to be a Hellion drop. Or a Marine drop with a Hellion run by, either flavor. Honestly, I kind of like that second idea. But we'll see. Triple Hellion. Do we bring the Marines? Yeah, why not? Hey. Or not. Medevac headed out. Adepts shading in. Ah! Oh. Alright, door's open. Warp Prism. So this is a much heavier blink pressure. We got 4 gates? Yes. So 2 base blink up against 2 base bio here. It's going to be aggression versus aggression. Not all in, but definitely heavy on the units, as opposed to expanding and adding on too many workers. MaxPax with the Spylon in the corner, but it doesn't quite spot until the last second here. The Hellions, 3 of them. The dangerous number. Could potentially dodge the Stalker shots with the Medevac. It's 6 probes. Ooh, but at the same time, MaxPax shows up to the front. And that's why Clem ended up losing. At least one of his 10 probes down, though. More Blink Stalkers being warped in as MaxPax's economy has been hit. The problem is, there's not that many units. The siege tank is actually in the way of the other siege tank. He's forced to unsiege at a very key timing. Whoa, but now there's 2 tanks. Somehow MaxPax has managed to keep almost all of his stalkers, only losing the shields. The orbital itself is vulnerable. Trying to drag some units out of position. Also looking for vision. The orbital itself, it's burning. He doesn't have that many SCVs on it. The siege tank is not in range, and MaxPax is incredibly aware of that. Alright, siege tank moving up. Gets out of there. And more stalkers into the main. Loses 1. So far, he's only lost that 1. That's not going to be the end of it, but near perfect blink micro from MaxPax thus far. Well, blunks into the natural. Ooh, big play. He's blunking in both sides. A very bold move. This is something that could backfire horribly, as Stalker's not the most hardy of units. He's still trying for the natural. Blunks into the tank. Gets it. And without the tank, it's going to be that much harder to dislodge. There's only one siege tank. It's going down to the natural. There's still so many Stalkers in the main. There's nothing on the other side. There's nothing in the main. That's so many Blink Stalkers. I don't know exactly how this went wrong, but Clem pulled in every direction. Has almost nothing left in the center. MaxPax, enough Stalkers to potentially break through, but he is playing it careful. He still has 4 Stalkers in the Prism as well. Gonna warp in another round. He's at 37 versus 37. Clem scans the third, realizing, okay, just live. Despite all the damage, Clem still has more workers. Clem has siege tanks. Well, he's trying to have siege tanks. Was Stim canceled? I believe it was. He lost his add-ons earlier here. Another tank, some SCVs, the bunker itself. There's nothing in the bunker right now. More Stalkers on top of the tank. Not ideal. Clem is holding, besieged on both sides. One Marauder. Incredibly important. The boys are pulled. He wants that Marauder. Not gonna get it. There's multiple depots in various phases of production right now. It's actually looking really weird in the production tab. Finally, MaxPax. Oh, he's trickling into the main. Shift blink. It might be able to get the tech lab, but the siege tank is the clear priority. Tech lab goes down yet again. No stim for you. How many tanks? 0. That's not very many. He's ghetto blinking with the prism as well. Going to fight his way out. Fighting retreat. Blinks away, heading for the natural. 7 more SCVs down. Clem is bleeding. Will he come back towards the main or just go for the natural? Oh my god, he just taps out. Ooh. Oh, that's a decisive victory. When Clem taps out after the fight ends, oh, he scanned the third base. Using any of your economy on scans, well, and seeing the third base on the way. He didn't know exactly. He did a lot of damage with the Hellions. The scan seals the deal. MaxPax with an incredibly well executed blink all in ends up taking the series 3-1. Clem putting up a solid fight, but I don't think he really was prepared for MaxPax's almost Zerg-like style in some of those games. Even on Ancient Cistern, it nearly brought him back until Clem reached for the Liberators. So, well, a great series out of MaxPax. Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better, Jimmy. 1,070. Yeah, we're getting there. 1,070 likes. I'll cast another series. Hopefully tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. See you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay tuned.